I also do NJS AAT appeal. I do disability discrimination. My strongest area is employment. I'm really, really passionate about employment, but I think people with disabilities have the right to have access to employment, because without employment, you've got nothing, And I've just been online with the state government, and we're talking, about getting a strategy plan for employment. And I said, well, that's all very well. You've got the NGIS where, and I do have an NGIS plan. They can give me funding to go into a cafe with a support person to go and buy a cup of coffee. But then I've got no support in the workplace because NGIS they don't fund employment. And it's only for the grace of God that I've got a really fantastic team to support me. And I know, I've got, I'm deaf and blind and I've got my limitations, but it's a good feel to know that I can call on you two and say, can you help me? And it's a safe place to do that.
My passion is assistance animals, because we've actually done quite a lot of work with the West Australian government in terms of setting up approvals for assistance dogs in Western Australia. Our service has been quite heavily involved in that right from the start. And now they a dog that's been trained as an assistance animal, providing they pass their assessment tests, can become an accredited assistance dog. So that's really quite exciting.
Yeah. So the passion that I have inherited from Michele is working with children who have disabilities in schools, and the school setting tends to be very difficult for children with disabilities, and often what we see is that they risk, not getting a proper education, especially for the children with challenging, what we call challenging behaviors that the schools, fail to support adequately. So I'm passionate about that. I want to see something different in the education sector, so that, an alternative especially can be found to situations where these children always end up being suspended. I would want to see that an alternative to suspension is introduced in schools, so that these children can, continue having education.
I think for me, because I've got the lived experience of living with a disability, I've had that journey where, I've been treated differently, even, as a young child, and have been discriminated, in settings of employment. And it's quite harrowing. When it happens to you, you feel worthless, you feel belittled, you just feel nothing, you just feel like you're not valued. So having gone on that journey myself, I can relate to people's trauma and the journey they've gone through because of the experience I've had. But having said that, I've done this kind of work for many years, and so I'm quite capable of protecting myself. I've got that empathy, not the sympathy, it's the empathy. I can empathise, with the person with disability, whether it's discrimination, employment, or health, or education. And it's about really not giving them a hand out. It's about giving them a hand up building their self-resilience and working alongside in a partnership and helping them through that journey, because there is a light at the end of every dark tunnel. That for me is my concept on it.
And I certainly agree with you, Rita, and my experience is completely different, that I'm providing a service to people to look after them and care for them. And I will be pretty honest that I don't know everything, and I never pretend that I'm an expert in people with disabilities, because I'm learning something new every time a client comes to me. There's often a lot of emotion of what they have been through with their disability in the past, and I certainly respect that, because I can never put myself in their shoes, and I tell them that, but I will have that empathy for them, because I'm learning from them, and I really try to see, I do like a triage process, what is the most important for them, and I ask them what is the most important for them right now, when they have a conundrum of difficulties going on in their life. What is the most important one that I can help you try and resolve right now, and what's important to you? So I always, when I hear that word expert, I have creepy crawlies all over me, and thinking, no, I'm not an expert. I'm still learning every single day. When I come here and I meet a new client, I learn something new.
And we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Because the thing with people with disabilities is not everybody's disability is unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, say for example, people who are deafblind. So you know, I'm deafblind, but I'm oral and I've got a little bit of sight. But the next person who's deafblind might be totally blind and non-verbal. And that's what makes it so difficult, because everybody's different, everybody's disability is different, and that's what we learn from it, don't we?
So, similar to what Rita and Michele have said, our clients might have similar issues, but every one of them is different. So in my work and in our work, we try as much as possible to work with the clients to understand their particular needs and see how best, we can support them. It's not about, yes, we come in with our legal background, but at the end of the day, we are instructed by what the client wants. And so we try as much as possible to support them with our legal, background to ensure that they get the outcomes that they want.